So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. All right, so the topic of today's session is embedding. If you could add your org name, that really helps us communicate with you, that would be great. And then I always like to use the speaker view. It's a little less distracting. As always, Caitlin is our tech person, and she will be helping out. Please chat her directly if you have any Zoom issues. And I'm leaving this on edit mode because I want to edit something that's about to happen. All right, so I don't know if everyone has been able to make it because of the fires, but here's the group of organizations that have been participating. And we're recording, right, Caitlin? Okay, great, thank you. And then I just got an email from Sylvan at the LANL Foundation, and they have been doing emergency grants for fire-related support, and she is on the ready set, and so she regrets that she's unable to be here with us today. All right, so where are we in this program? So we are on it is May 12th, we're doing embedding, and very closely related to that is this idea of community-based participatory evaluation, and that's going to be the subject of Tuesday's ECHO. And then for June, the program is going to be one-on-one consultations to to take stock of where you are and to plan for the October event. So it's definitely going to be in October, and I will send you that date as soon as we confirm it with LANL Foundation. All right, so you know who we are, and I think I'm going to go to full screen at this point. So that should look familiar. The ECHO, again, is on Tuesday. Thank you for your participation. The participation from this group has been really valuable to us all. And as you know, it's great if you are doing your mission time to keep the evaluation, to keep the momentum going. And many of you have been sharing, and that's going to be available to you throughout the rest of the year. And okay, we know all of that. Okay, so just again to keep in mind where we're going, or what the whole thing looks like, what we want to help you do over the course of this year is come up with a plan that allows you to answer a question by collecting data, maybe using rubrics to analyze that data, and then evaluating the data. What we want to see in October when we have our graduation is, well, I'll get to that. It's not this whole thing, and we're not expecting you to have collected any data. We're just expecting you to have a plan of what you want to do. Okay. So I think that's it. I'm going to come back. So the agenda is just a little bit different today. Similar though. So Ranjana is going to talk about embedding, and then there'll be 25 minutes with another 10 minutes of break for you to, think about how you will embed evaluation in your organization. Then we'll have a debrief in the small groups, and then we have a little bit of extra time in our group at the end to talk about the June consults. And then we'll go back into the small breakout rooms to set up the dates for the June consults. So it will be helpful if on the break or sometime during these hours you have access to your calendars. All right, so with that, Ranjana, I'm going to let you take it away. And I think it will be easiest if I just advance the slides. Just let me know.
So I'll just do this, or okay. When I want the slide moved, I'll just say something. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Hello, everyone. this has been a great group, and I'm really excited to present about embedding. So let's talk about embedding. This is one of the most effective ways to find out if your organization is on track to succeed in your mission. So there are different ways you can conduct evaluations. Embedding is one of the most efficient and promising ways to get the benefits of evaluation findings. Next, please. So what are just a review, what are the basic principles that evaluation lab promotes and embraces? So the first is measuring what matters. So many times we hear that we measure what is measurable and so forth. We believe that we have a mission, we have a goal, and we want to find out whether we are succeeding or not. We have to identify variables that we need to measure, and we can measure anything. So what matters is what we measure. Second principle is participatory evaluation. This means that we include as many stakeholder groups in our evaluation as possible. So we have anyone from leadership to board of directors to staff categories to participants and community members, so that we get variety of views and variety of perspectives to refine our processes. And third, very important principle that evaluation lab promotes is embedding evaluation. Evaluation should be part of our daily routine, and it is used to achieve organization's mission. Evaluation activities are part of the routine operations, and the people in organizations are accustomed to the processes. It's part of second nature for them. And that way evaluation can be really effective because it's an ongoing process that helps move the organization. Next, please. So these are our learning objectives today. We are going to understand what embedding actually means, specifically means, what embedding looks like in an organization, and what steps you can follow to embed evaluation in your organization. So those are the three things we are going to go over today. Next, please. So first and foremost, we have talked about this. Mission time is exceedingly important. It should be an agenda item in your meetings, your staff meetings, your board meetings, your leadership meetings, because it is critical to revisit your mission and understand where you're going. Keeping the mission in focus is extremely important, because that way you will keep on track to make the necessary changes if things are going off track. So keeping the mission focused is an important thing, and it also brings your organizational objectives in focus. It also brings joy when people get together and talk about something that is important to them. Next, please. Embedding 2. In order to conduct built-in evaluations, you have to have an assigned evaluation team. So you start with an evaluation coordinator. So in any organization, there will be an assigned evaluation coordinator who will lead the entire team towards designing right kind of questions for the evaluation, brainstorming, they're designing effective data collection tools, identifying effective ways to collect data. And that person will oversee data analysis, communication of data to the right stakeholders. So this person will be in charge overall of the evaluation processes. Next, please. And what does the evaluation team look like? The rest of the team will have as many stakeholder groups as possible. And the team will provide different perspectives, and the team will actually provide help with conducting the evaluation. Next, please. Feedback loop. This is the cyclical process through which evaluations are embedded and conducted. So first you have to come up with the right questions regarding your mission and its accomplishment. Are we on the right track? Are we succeeding? Is this the way to achieve our mission? These questions will be determined by the evaluation team, and then comes the process of identifying data that need to be collected. So the team will develop processes. The data collection process is built into the system. So for example, if you have, we worked with a service giving organization last semester, and we recommended to them that you collect data on your clients at the beginning of the process, a month into the process, and at the end of the process. So you got 3 snapshots. So that is built into the system. So that's the way you build data collection systems in the operations of your organization. So you are not doing it as an external activity. And how you do it and how you create the timetable or how you assign the role depends on your mission. It is specific to the organization or when this whole process happens. But once this is done, you come up with the findings, and then the key members of the team and the leadership team will determine how the findings can be used. These findings should or will help tweak the program on the one hand and ask more questions on the other. So this is a cyclical process of feedback loop that goes on. Next, please. Continuous learning. Evaluation is learning. So having embedded evaluation is a continuous learning process. So the leadership, it starts at the leadership level first. The leadership embraces evaluative thinking and values evaluation as a critical element of your operations. Now, what is evaluative thinking? It basically means that the leadership believes in evidence, is inquisitive, is ask questions. It doesn't take success for granted. It doesn't want to just hear that we are doing great. They want to know. And then they will be participating in evidence, discussion, and brainstorming, and then decision making. So that's the whole evaluative thinking that is embraced by the leadership. The staff will receive training to build evaluation skills, and the organization undertakes evaluation to answer questions about the program's success on a continuous cyclical process. So that means that the learning keeps happening continuously through evaluation. Next, please. So again, to emphasize the point, evaluation is routinized in the organization, and systems are placed, roles are assigned to collect, analyze, and interpret data. Evidence drives decision-making, and feedback stimulates program improvement as well as the next evaluation. Next, please. So here we come to the point where we are going to talk about actual evaluation, embedded evaluation system that Evaluation Lab has undertaken. And Claudia, are you going to talk about it? Claudia does this part of the process, so she has volunteered to talk about it. Thank you.
Well, hi, everybody. First, I hope you're all staying safe. And thank you for making the time to come today. We really appreciate it. So all I'm going to share with you is a bit of what we do every year to evaluate the fellowship program in the Evaluation Lab. So for our mission time, we do set aside 1-hour meetings every other week throughout the spring. That is our team mission time, and as best as we can, Melissa is also the assistant director for the evaluation lab. We also meet as often as we can to discuss any issues that need talking about. Now, every year, I have set up different goals for Eval Square. That's how we call it. Is the evaluation of the evaluation lab. So before we ask the rest of the staff to commit their time, we set up the evaluation goal for that year. So my first year with the lab, because we have a teaching component, I reviewed one year we reviewed the syllabus for the course based on the student feedback. In another year, we reviewed and thoroughly went over all our rubrics and logic model. And this year, I don't want to say it's more refined, but it is more of an intricate process of how each of the elements of the lab come together, and be more purposeful about bringing together each of the staff members within the lab. So we're working on that and defining that. So we decide the evaluation goal, and that decision is what drives those meetings from January to May. Another goal of these mission time meetings is to design the annual evaluation, and that includes focus group and survey that we run with our students, as well as our exit interviews with the partner organizations. And we put together a report at the end of the year that you can find in our website. And at the table, we try to have as many people as possible. We do invite the students who are part of the program to be a part of it, the team leads, as well as the associate director and I sit at the table. We also have, and that's probably the next slide, we ask our partner organizations to be part of our advisory council, and we share this information with them, not only to provide information, but to elicit feedback of what's working, what's not working. And even if the things they wish us to do are not possible at that moment or in the immediate future, it becomes important information for future Eval Square planning. At this point, I would have to say we are in the tweaking stage. It was really interesting when at least I imagine when the lab started, Melissa started it, but when I took over it, it was more big picture. We were thinking about more structural things. You're fine on that slide. Now we're thinking more I would say in the margins about how we refine processes and how things come together. And that, I think, is the result of doing this year after year after year. You don't have to think that much big picture, but you start to make things just a little better, and little things start to make a big difference. Not to say we don't do big changes, we do, but though it's not the same to build something new than to build on something that's already designed to your liking. So that would be all. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me. Okay.
I'd like to just add something to this. We wanted to tell you what we did because it's pretty simple. And so we have that complicated, model of the whole evaluation. But what we do is pretty simple. And I think the next couple of slides walk through, each element of those 4 embedding. But really what we want to emphasize here is that it doesn't have to be like huge or fancy.
Okay, go ahead, Zach.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go to the next one. Yeah.
Well, no, Zach is asking a question.
Just a quick question for both of you. This tweak and innovate, review data. I mean, I know a lot of times we've been sort of gravitating towards SWOT analysis or SWOT analyses around looking at, what's going well and threats, whatever the acronym stands for, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Or do you specifically use your logic model? I mean, do you have a form for how you review the data or a process by which you do that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I don't think we have a training on that, but there should be a video on this on the website. One of the things we've worked on, and I have to give credit to the team lead who did this for many years, is to analyze the questions in our survey and in our protocol are based on our objectives. So the questions we ask our partner organizations upon exiting or finishing the year's work, even if they're not exiting, the questions we ask our students, and the conversations I have with our team leads, they're all based on our objectives. And to give you an example, our goal as Evaluation Lab is supporting organizations to embed evaluation. And that is one of the things we talk about, like where is the organization at and where do they want to go forward, and how can we support them in a following year if they're set up to do another year with us. So yeah, we do that. And in terms of the analysis of this data, for our qualitative data, the report is set up to reflect things that that work for each component of the labs, things that did not, and things that require changing. The plus, the minus, and the delta, which I think Melissa might have referred to in the past, I'm not sure. And we have that as a set format. And as part of the EVAL squared towards, and this should happen in June, we go through all the deltas, the potential changes, and we decide which ones are actionable based on where we want to be next year. That's how we do it. And then we make the changes for the coming year and off we go again. But yeah, sometimes the data from the survey are more, because it's for the students, is more academic, I would say, academic oriented, but also about professional skills. So there might be overlap between the two, but mostly they each assess different aspects of our organization goals, and they do heavily rely on our logic model.
Thank you.
Mm.
And I think the next slides will tell you more about the tools that we use to collect data. Okay, are there other questions, or we can move forward? Ranjana, are you ready to take back over?
Yeah. So is one slide missing? I don't know. Let's see. So there was a slide about work assignments, or is it?
Oh, that comes later.
Oh, that comes later. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so embedding. So what Melissa said, I completely agree with it. Once this process is broken down and properly seen as different aspects of the whole evaluation process, it doesn't look that complicated or that overwhelming, I think. So embedding, the first thing is to assign mission time. So carving out the time where you, as a team, as a group in the organization as a whole, discuss your mission and what's working and what is not working, and then from there take it to the step of evaluation. But mission time is absolutely critical. Next. And what would embedding look like in your organization? You will assign roles. So there will be an evaluation coordinator. And I think Claudia would have been one in our organization. And there will be an evaluation team, as many stakeholders as possible to represent different points of view and different skills. And try, go beyond, over and above, and try to get as many different members of your community as possible so that your evaluation will be more pertinent and the results will be more useful. Next, please. So when the actual process starts, that's the nitty-gritty where you assign timings and roles and processes and build those processes in your routine activities in service giving or whatever your mission and practices to achieve the mission are. So it should be part of those routine processes, and there should be very specific timing and role assignments to collect data that is pertinent for your evaluation. Same with results of your data, who analyzes the skills involved in it, who reports and to whom, and then how are the findings used in actual operations of your service giving. So these are all the processes that can be routinized, and it will be part of your work routines, work cycle, that the findings are then feeding into improving your services and making your organization more effective in reaching your goals. Next, please. And as I said before, evaluation is basically a learning process, and it's an ongoing learning, training, expanding your pool, and having as many people involved as possible, which is very important to making your practices effective for as many of your clients as possible. Identify enthusiastic champion to keep the momentum. Now that I haven't mentioned yet, but sometimes this subjective process is very important. You have to have somebody who is really excited about this, and that person will make it successful. So identify enthusiastic people who would like to take on, be at the helm of this embedded evaluation. And as it becomes a normal practice, it can also bring joy and a lot of fun as a collective activity. So that's what I want to say about the practices of embedding. And next we will go over a worksheet. Oh, I want to mention these two definitions, two concepts that are important for the embedding process. So we have been talking about embedding that is very close to the idea of capacity building. And we, as the members of the lab, we are trying to do that. We are trying to increase evaluation skills in our students as well as our nonprofits. That's the goal. So evaluation capacity building, what does that mean? Developing and using evaluation skills, learning from evaluation findings, improving the program to make it effective, and building a culture of evaluation. So this is what capacity building is. And when you embed it in your organization, that's embedding of evaluation. And I already talked about evaluative thinking, the critical thinking that goes into, it's the background or the backbone of your entire evaluation process, the critical thinking about your assumptions, about analysis of data, raising questions, interpreting results, and then the final decision making. That's the whole process. Okay, Melissa, we should talk about the questions first. Do you have any questions for me or Claudia or?
Zach, is your hand up again?
Oops, sorry, no, I need to put my hand down, I guess.
So Ranjana, can you share, there's a, Caitlin will put the link into the chat, and can you share the handout or the work that they're going to do on the?
Yeah.
Do you have that hand?
You can open the handout?
You want me to do that?
Yeah, I have it, but yeah, why don't you go ahead and do it?
Okay, so I'll show you
have
how
it
I,
handy? Yeah.
So this is how you can, oops, let me go to it, sorry. Okay,
I have it here. Can you share the screen?
you can share it,
I can
I
share it.
think. Yeah, I'm sorry, now you can.
Okay, tell me, I have it here. Should I share it?
Please.
Can everybody see it? Yes, okay. So this is the worksheet that we will work on in our private rooms. So we will talk about mission time, how to actually practice it within your organization, or the nitty-gritty of it. So this is brainstorming for just creating these processes. Who would be on your evaluation team? Who would be the coordinator? Each organization is different, and you will come up with your plan or tentative plan or what makes sense to you. The feedback loop. So what kind of data instruments you are likely to use, like survey, how to develop it, who will be in charge of conducting the survey, who will report the data, analyze the data. So there might be different ways to collect data, survey, focus group, interview.
I'm
So
sorry, I just want to point out
Yeah,
that the grade out is what we do in the evaluation lab. So this is where you can see what we do. We have a survey of student skills. We have a student focus group. And then we have those interviews with the partner organization. So those are the three main things we do for the fellowship. And then you've been filling out surveys that we ask you to do as part of, any kind of trainings we do. So just so you know, that's it. That's our whole, that's our eval squared. That's how we evaluate the evaluation lab. So I just wanted to point that out, Ranjana. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Yes. So basically what this sheet will give you, it will provide you a tool to get your thoughts together about this business of embedding. And you have this assigned time to go over these different aspects, the 4 basic steps that I talked about. And then you can kind of brainstorm through those processes and then report to the rest of us what it looks like, what makes sense to you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, so let me just get everyone on the same page here about what's going to happen now. So we're a little bit over, but we're now in the on your own. And so as usual, you're welcome to go into your own, there's a breakout room for you where you can work. If there's more than one of you in your organization, you can work together on that document. And Caitlin put the link into the chat, so you can go directly there. And then you will be coming back at 2:05 into the small groups, and Caitlin will be sending reminders to everyone. So let me stop the share and see if there are any questions about what we're asking you to do for the next half hour or so. Is everyone good? All right, so Caitlin, if you can open up the breakout rooms. So if you click on the breakout rooms, it should give you some options of where to go. And then facilitators, we might as well go into our rooms so that if any of the group members want to join us, they can.
Okay, thank you.
Hey guys, so I think Melissa was hoping that we could join our small groups at this time. And if you need me to move you, let me know.
Yes, could you please move me?
Mhm. Zach, I'm sorry, which group are you usually in? Melissa's? What was that?
Melissa, yeah. Yep.
Ooh, my audio is weird. Okay, you should have the option to move.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you have to stop the recording in breaks? Sorry.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Hold on. I got kicked out of my meeting. I think it's my. Can you put me in my group again?
Yes. It might kick you out though, because we're coming back in like 30 seconds.
That's okay.
So just leave you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where? Oh, on my camera.
Welcome back, everybody. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we can see where we're at again. Okay, so we were here and all right. So I want to spend 15 minutes doing our debrief, exit ticket, all of this stuff. So if you don't mind, if you could put into the chat a few words that describe your main takeaway from the embedding material, the presentation and the work that you've done. And then once you have that, your ideas in writing, I'm going to ask a couple people to share. So let's give you a few minutes to add that to the chat. All right, I'll just give you another minute to finish up. Okay, so please feel free to add to that as we start talking. So would anyone like to elaborate on their takeaways or some work that they did when they were thinking about their own embedding in their own organization? And I'll actually stop the share so that we can see each other a little better, much better.
I can say something. I know, like, oh, my internet's a little bit not very good, but like right now I'm at a clinic where like a team of our staff and a board member are like trying to work on some kind of structures to improve organizational culture, and like this is just so relevant in so many ways, like adding, you know, evaluation mission time and like evaluation approaches into standing agenda items, like just really like the really basic stuff. It's like exactly the kind of ideas that I needed today.
Great, I'm so happy to hear that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll talk about we were all inspired from, or myself and Zachary were both inspired from the presentation, looking at really bringing in all of the stakeholders to the evaluations, to reviewing all of the data. And so we already have it set up so that once a year we look at our program with, or twice a year we look at our program, and it's a brand new program, so we haven't done it yet, with an administrator from the schools, someone running a similar program in another place, an educational psychologist. And then I was inspired to say, let's invite a parent and another teacher from the schools in, so that we bring everybody who has a different perspective to come look at our work with us.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that suggestion, where you know, we talk about inviting community members, and Anita's organization already had that in place. And that is, you know, we've been talking a lot about participants related to your organization, but you know, what a great idea to invite someone who's doing similar work. They will learn, you will learn, they will have suggestions. So I love that idea of having, you know, who do you present your program to? And, you know, we all have networks, we all have friends who might be willing to help us with that. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, Anita. Any other, does anyone else feel, is anyone else willing to share your thoughts on this topic? I noticed there were a couple of comments about what data can be from Claudia's group. Would anyone be willing to debrief us on that?
I will. One of the things that I'm working on is, it occurred to me from the work time, is my department is a department in a district of many moving parts, and there's an initiative going on to be very standards oriented in instruction. And the part that comes to mind is in in working with Native students, we're really trying to raise awareness around elevating culturally responsive teaching and other ways of knowing. But because of this standards-based initiative, we're basically proposing a vision that opens that conversation up and looks at standards and threads standards-based thinking with culturally responsive teaching, and seeing that as a holistic, having a holistic vision. And so data, in my mind, I was thinking surveys, interviews, and focus groups. And Claudia kind of pointed out to me that there's other data that I just wasn't seeing it as data. So looking at the way that the consulting group that's training teachers, how they're engaging with teachers is data, like the notes and the minutes and the agendas and the PowerPoints. I hadn't thought of it, and it's just like, it just, blew my mind that I could analyze the way that they're looking at standards, and they're looking at student engagement is what we want to talk about with teachers in the STEAM disciplines, student engagement, their teacher practices, their curriculum materials, and how they're weaving culturally responsive teaching and standards together. But really what it also boils down to is that our mission is to work with the district to create a mission. So I have trouble sometimes with the assignments because I'm asking for something that hasn't been created yet, or it doesn't already exist, or it's in my head and I'm not superintendent or the director of curriculum and instruction or a teacher either. So that it's been very helpful though for me to make this shift, so I can already kind of feel things unlocking in my head. So thanks
Great.
for asking.
Great.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing, Loretta. Does anyone else want to have anything else to share? I'll just give you a minute to gather your thoughts. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so the Echo on Tuesday, I think you will really enjoy the didactic there. We also have 2 community organizations that are sharing. And again, this is just like ideas about putting community-based participatory evaluation into practice, some of the challenges, and also it really provides a grounding for why it's so important. So I encourage you to check that out. Oh, sorry about this. Yeah, so we're trying to put together a date for the October graduation. So let me go through this a little more slowly. So in June, I'm gonna, at the end of when I'm done giving this overview, I'm gonna ask you to go back into your small breakout rooms, your small groups, and set up a time to meet with the facilitator. This is our last monthly training. So I really appreciate you sticking this out. It's hard to do, I think, every month. It's on Zoom, but it's been a great group. I couldn't ask for a better, more engaged group. So thank you so much for bringing your energy to Zoom, because we need it. The Echo learning will continue, and you can see on the right-hand side all of the presentations that are still coming. We don't meet in July. June has been moved back to June 28th. But other than that, it is still going to be the 3rd Tuesday, and the topics are there for you to see. So the coding is going to be in June, and I know that that will be of great interest for many of you to what to do with your qualitative data. So then we have this graduation, which is part of the program. And the graduation, sorry, I don't have the link here, but if you go to the, let me go ahead and share this. Let me go there. And Caitlin will put the link into the chat. Sorry, this is just for my group. Don't look, don't look. Okay, where are we? Okay, so if we look in June, we've got, oh, we don't. Where is that, Caitlin? Didn't we had a guide for what we're going to ask people to be just so you know what the June consultation is going to look like. Caitlin, is it somewhere else?
No,
I
we
missed
might
that.
have to, yeah, I'll add it.
Okay, so let me show you. This is another way of showing you what what we're looking for. It's only a 5-minute presentation. So in October, we're going to do this graduation, and it may be in person depending on the COVID situation in Espanola at the LANL Foundation offices. But obviously we'll let you know. So October 7th is our tentative date, but I will get back to you about that. And this is what we're looking for you to do. It's a template. So we want to know your goal or your evaluation questions. That's one. We want to know your proposed data collection methods. So you don't have to have used them yet. We just want to know what you're contemplating. If you have used them, fantastic. You can share that. And then your timeline. And that's really it. That's basically, a skeleton of your plan. What your question is, how you're going to collect data to answer that question, and your timeline. And then there's a bonus slide if you already know what you're going to do with your results. And then it's just then questions that you have for the group and what questions you have for us. And so when Caitlin gets that loaded, really what we want to do in the June consult is get really clear on these 3 questions: what the questions are, what the data collection methods are or are going to be, and the timeline. So Caitlin, just let me know if and when there's something.
It's there, it's in the October folder, and I'm adding it to the June one as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So if we go back to the link and we go, if I just refresh.
It's in the October folder.
Okay, sorry.
I'm still publishing the June one.
Okay, I'm not seeing it, but can you just share it, Caitlin, from your
It's right there.
Oh, it is?
Presentation template.
That's what I just showed. We're looking for, there's a guide to the consultations. Okay, let me stop the share and just give me a second. I just want to share this with you because it's quite simple. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the share. Okay, so this is what we're proposing. So this is, to have it in writing. So during our October graduation, we'll be looking to each of you to spend 5 minutes sharing your plan for evaluating a goal, outcome, or question you have for your organizations. So those are the 3 things. And then we're looking to, we provide some prompts about I think most of you already have your goal or questions. This is just a way of organizing it. You don't have to do this ahead of time, although if you want to, that would be great. And then we just did this. This is really what we did, the data collection tool and who and when and how, and then the timeline. So that's what we'll be reviewing, and we'll email out this document to everyone so that you have it. So let me stop the share there, and I want to give you time to go back into the breakout room so that you can get scheduled for your June consult. Are there any questions about what's coming? All right, so once the breakout rooms are open, we'll see you there, and then you're free to leave from there. We'll see you one-on-one in June. And then we'll see you at the Echoes, but then our group will reconstitute in October. Thanks, everybody.